Zach, you ever put a tie on?
Yeah, yeah.
You ever
All
tied a
dressed up.
tie?
Do what?
You ever tied a tie?
No, I actually haven't. I always I used to get the little clip-on ones for church when I was little. Just clip it right on there.
Remember your parents used to be like, "Yeah, man, you need to wear a tie. There's a suit and tie event because we just tied with the freaking Packers." When I said all week, this is emotional. I'm gonna be emotional now. I'm sorry, Zach. When I said all week, this was a winnable game, Zach. Oh, I'm still I'm still just processing everything what happened. It was such a fun game. There are so many positives to take from this game. I think that really there were just a lot of people who didn't give us a chance and you tied. When honestly, there were times, man, when you were better than the Packers. You just couldn't get the stops when you needed, and I now have you just can't with this defense. Zach, how you doing, buddy? I don't know. I don't even know where to start, Zach. Do you have anywhere to start? Because I don't.
No, the emotional part, yeah, this is probably gonna be an emotional one because tying, you can't tie in college football, but for some reason in professional football, you can tie. Like we were talking very briefly pre-show, like I think this is worse than a loss. Now it isn't in the grand scheme of like draft order and getting in the playoffs and all that, but now we got to look at that one on the end of the record, and we know exactly what it's from. And this is just, I mean, we could break it down offense by defense, but it as good as the offense played, it didn't have CeeDee Lamb. You didn't have your number one. Do we remember what this offense looked like without him last year when he wasn't in there? And Pickens proved that he could be a number one, as good as Dak and Pickens, and even a guy like Ryan Flournoy and Kevontae Turpin. I feel bad for them because they played so well, plenty good enough to win this game. And the defense, man, just sabotaged it over and over. And I think back to like early on in the game, Dallas was still in it and eventually took the lead at half, shooting themselves in the foot over and over and over. It was like nothing, one step forward, two steps back. So as good of a game, if they would have come out of this with a win, bro, we would have been the happiest people, even with how the defense played. But it ended in a tie. It's just so frustrating.
Well, I'll go back to this. The first touchdown that we scored when it was like after the Y.A. Thomas block field goal, you get the momentum. You get like a stop or something. You're able to stop them, I think, or hold them to a field goal. And our first touchdown, I was wondering why Shotty didn't go for two, because there were two times in that game where if he went for two, it would have forced the Packers to score touchdowns. I have to go back and replay those times in that game, and they always were comfortable enough to get it over to 50, score field goals, and that's just disheartening. There's a lot to break down. I really wish, and then the other thing that, while I'm being negative, because we're gonna get like in a tie, there's negative and there's positive. We're gonna get to some of the positive. There was a lot of good. I think Dak is at the top of that list. George Pickens, what do you have, like 140, 150? He went crazy.
Yeah.
Javonte Williams needs to be signed in the morning. But my negative, Zach, for the life of me, in overtime, you get to the red zone, Shotty. Why are we throwing the ball twice? I just wish that he would have read the room and at least put the ball in the belly of Williams at least two times. And if you get to third down and you want to take a shot, cool, Zach. But the way that Williams was leaning on them, and to start overtime, Williams had a big run. You get the whole shot to Pickens. Why do we not give him a chance? You get the outstanding catch by Tolbert. Got to give Tolbert credit. I've been super hard on Tolbert. Wanted Tolbert off the field. All he does is make a game-changing catch. You're in the red area, Zach. Zach, why are we not trying to get a touchdown, and why are we not running the football? Design a run. I didn't get that, man. I didn't I did not understand that from Shoddy. We know what the defense is. We're about to talk about that, Zach, but that just was
And that's what hurt the most is the offense, like leading up to kicking the field goal in overtime. They were moving the ball. You had that big play for Tolbert. Javonte Williams was running the ball well. Like, you get down there and then you can't punch it in and at least put the pressure back on Green Bay, and you have to end up settling for the field goal. But I felt like this with Shoddy over the past couple of weeks. It's like he gets down in the red zone and he just starts freaking out. It's like Javonte gets stuffed on his first run. That doesn't mean you just completely abandon it. It will work. They were compromised on the interior anyway because they had Wyatt had gotten hurt early on in the game, and you've proven that you can run the ball. So to get away from that with the game on the line after working so hard to get down there, and one of them was the throw out of the back of the end zone. Nobody was open, so that's pretty much like you're not even getting yardage to get there. You're on the 3 or 4 yard line, and then Dak scrambles out, takes a sack from Micah. It's just you work so hard, and they played really good to get down there offensively, and for it to just end in a field goal, and it just felt like we knew the defense was going to give up something.
Yeah,
I tweeted out like this is going to either be a loss or a tie with just the way the defense was consistently giving up yardage. So
no, it was. Let's talk about the defense because the offense. We have all week to talk about what this offense can be, but at some point, I tweeted this defense has to hit puberty and grow up. This is kiddie now. Now it's just gotten disgusting. Elam, Sanborn, Diggs didn't want to tackle. Now Diggs did make a great tackle late in the game, so I have to give him credit for that, throwing his shoulder in there, getting Josh Jacobs to the ground. The pressure was better, Zach, but it wasn't great, and they had backup linemen. I just think that I like the changes that were made. Bitching Diggs, right? I wasn't mad at that, right? Making him a rotational player because these guys need to be humble, Zach. Like, hey, Diggs, you're not playing good. And I don't think you played great tonight, but you did have a good tackle. Congratulations to you. Now it's Elam. Like, go sign somebody, bro. I can't watch Kyrie Elam play football anymore. I can't, bro. Like, I can't. And then Jack Sanborn, unfortunately, just looks slow. Like, he does everything right, but he's just his feet are in mud, Zach. Mud.
Yeah.
You know,
you give really up 40 collective group. It's a collective.
Yeah.
It's the entire defense. And then I was thinking on that fourth down, like you had the Packers, the first time that you get them to fourth down in the entire second half, and your play call is to rush 3 and drop Sam Williams as he's shadowing Jordan Love, and he's going to throw his hand. That's your play call, Eberflus. Like, I get that you might not trust your corners. There's got to be something else in your bag right there. The game is on the line, and that's what you come up with, is rushing 3 and dropping them back and dropping 8 back in coverage. Like, and yeah, I mean, guys didn't play good. I mean, Elam's playing 20 yards off the ball. I mean,
every snap.
Just a pitch and catch on that one touchdown. But I wanted to read this off too. After halftime, the Packers had touchdown, field goal. That was going into overtime. And then they had field goal to tie it to end the game. Just not a single stop. Like, we are hitting like peewee levels of football here.
It's laughable.
It really is. Like, it's genuine. I don't know. Like, is this as bad as a 2020 defense, or did I not care because Dak was hurt by the end? This might be historically, when it comes down to it at the end of the year, if they don't fix or change something. But I don't know where they go from here.
On a scale from 1 to 10, all right, you got the Jets next week. You got the Panthers after that. You got the Commanders, and then you got the Broncos, your next 4 games. Zach, how confident are you in just this team as a whole? Because right now, to me, it just feels like it's just 2 different bodies. It's offense separated from the defense, and it's not a team. It's literally the offense has to do everything, and the defense, you have to pray that they'll get a stop a game. Like, the Jets aren't a good offensive team, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be great when they play us. It's It's how confident are you, Zach?
I guess honestly, it's just how confident are you in Dak? That's kind of like if he doesn't play well, they're going to lose. That's kind of like
Yeah.
where I'm at. If Dak doesn't, he literally had maybe the
MVP
best game of his career.
MVP game. MVP game.
So efficient, so good. He took that one sack, didn't even lose any yard. A sack is what it counted as. Moving around in the pocket, making big time throws. That's really where if Dak comes out and he can sling it, then we're feeling good. But with the defense, yeah, I think you're getting some Jets and all of those teams. But you're like you said, I mean, it's just like they made Russell Wilson look like prime 2014 Russ.
Yeah.
So, my confidence right now after this game, I do feel better about the team as a whole. I would say like a 7 going into these last couple of games. These next couple of games.
You had a chance to break the mold, Zach, with this what should have been a win. I think the Cowboys did everything to win. They just didn't win.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, that's the game. Now it just looks like you're not like, all right, so let's talk about the linebacker room. I was thinking about this as we were talking. It's like I want Sanborn off the field, but it's clear when you watch Shamar James, he just isn't ready. And so that's the problem. And then you get Maris Luafau in there, and he does the stupid after the play, terrible. That put them in plus field position. Go ahead, score. And so as fans, as people who watch the game, we're all calling for who? Maris to play. We need you to play Maris. What does Maris do when he gets in there, Zach?
Misses a tackle and then has that 15-yard penalty.
He definitely did miss a tackle as well. So, we're calling for these guys to play, and they get in there and just don't do the right things. Now, he had the big hit on special teams, but it's just like, man, these are the things. I know people don't like Kenneth Murray, but I'd rather have him on the field than Sanborn. And right now, I don't even know if I want Marist on the field. I think you may have to either see. I don't think that they would do the whole Marquise Bell play down thing, but it needs to be Clark. Somebody has to play linebacker better than Jack Sanborn. Jack is a liability at this point. I mean, it was blatantly obvious that not only was he slow, but that Green Bay was basically kind of like picking on him. So that is the scary part. Yeah, because they were just, to the flats. He was late to the flats all game. He wasn't running. Like, the defense is bad, man. It is. And so I just feel like in order for the Cowboys to win, it is going to have to be, I think it's two things, Dak. I said Dak. Zach. It's going to be Dak, but I also think that you have to run the ball and limit possessions. Like, I want Shotty to understand there are times when we go fast, and we got down in this game, so I get it. You were kind of playing. The game was just crazy, man. Like, what? No. But at a point, right? At a point, we got to get a stop, Zach. Oh, my God, man. This is crazy.
I need to look at the play-by-play and just see how many, because, in the second half, no one was counting on this defense to get a stop. We knew that 45 seconds was too much. We knew that they kicked the field goal, that they were probably going to go down and either kick the field goal or score a touchdown. And the thing is we're not asking for much from the defense. Be middle of the road. Be average. You could even be below average in the 20s. Not be 32nd where you are just giving up big play after big play and getting walked down the field with no resistance. It felt like Green Bay, dude, had first down every single snap. It didn't matter if it was second down, third down, nothing. Felt like it was first down every single time they snapped the ball, and the field looks 100 times bigger with the other offense out there. It really is as far as, I just don't think you got the players. I don't think you have the scheme defensively. And if you want to win games, I mean, Dak had a career game 40. Pickens had, I think it was like 8 catches for 130 something yards. They got guys involved. I thought Brian Schottenheimer and Clayton Adams were great. Their plan for the Packers defense, perfect. Worked to perfection. But the defense, like, dude.
Yeah. Can't get a stop, bro. And I think now, so chat, because I don't know. Can you help me with this, please? Chat. What happens on a tie, and how does it affect us late in the season? If anybody could help us, that would be amazing. Because I don't know. Like, I guess it comes down to, does it come down to tie break? I don't know. Like, how I know this tie is gonna hurt us at some point, Zach.
Yeah. Instead of like dropping a game back, you drop half a game back,
Okay.
like in your record. So instead of like being 1-3, it's almost like being 1-2.5. And it messes up a lot of things. Like as far as later in the season. But I do know a tie is better than a loss,
Nah, for sure, Zach. All right, let's talk about some good. Zach, who was the? Obviously, we know that Dak played on the MVP level. Who else to you stood out? Because we'll have all we can talk about Dak Prescott, but who else to you stood out, buddy?
Javonte Williams.
Yeah,
I mean that dude is such a hard runner. Like he will stick his nose in there and take hit after hit. And you could tell he was wearing on the Packers throughout the game. Like they did not want to tackle him. Guys could not bring him down. He was starting to break off 5, 10. He had a big run. I think it was early in overtime.
Yeah.
And then George Pickens, I mean, he's a number one wide receiver. We saw what this offense looked like when it was Jalen Tolbert as the number one, and them relying on Turpin Moore and Ferguson and stuff. Pickens is a number one because he made all those guys better. Tolbert had 4 for 61. Ferguson had 7 for 40 and a touchdown. Turpin had 3 for 30. Like, I think that is a sweet spot for all of those guys. If you can have that number one with 8 for 134 and 2 touchdowns on 11 targets, and then you can have those other guys kind of in there, that is right in the sweet spot for this offense, and that's why they put up 40. And as bad as the Cowboys defense was, the Cowboys offense was destroying the Packers. That was one of the best defenses in the league. They shut down the Lions.
Yeah.
In week 1. I know it was week 1, guys everything's getting figured out, but they've shut down teams up to this point. They hadn't given up a single touchdown, I don't think, in the first 3 quarters of a game through the first 3 weeks of the year. And Dallas comes out and puts 40 on their head and made it look really easy.
I thought that Brian Schottenheimer from second quarter to fourth was outstanding. And it's easy to nitpick, right? I thought that he was outstanding. I'd say another pro of this game was definitely Donovan Ezaraku. He's getting closer, right? He's making plays behind the line of scrimmage. I thought that James Houston was a big part of this. He did cause the turnover. So, like, you did have some good you had 2 good plays from the defense, maybe a few more, but they just as a whole. But offensively, my God, George Pickens, Zach, my goodness, George Pickens is a baller, dude. He is. This is what we envisioned, right? We envisioned Dak, CD, and Pickens running the league as far as a true 1-2 punch. And you almost think of it like, dang, you never want CD to get hurt, but this is like weirdly was able to get Dak and Dak and GP on the same page, right? Like they're on the same page, Jack. They're making plays, they're balling. Dude, the catch to start their first the catch before half, Zach. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
GP? Insane. Yeah, like Ryan Flournoy. But back to George Pickens, bro. He's sneaky after the catch. He has such a big catch radius, such a big frame. He did have the one drop on the slant where it looked honestly it looked to me like he was trying to get upfield. But George Pickens, man, two people that I would try to sign immediately: Javonte Williams, George Pickens. I wouldn't play around with it. You deal with his attitude. You deal with the BS because you just. I mean, listen, I do. I'm rambling a little bit here. I'm sorry, Zach. I do like, and I did like Michael Gallup. George Pickens is completely on a different stratosphere than Michael Gallup's at.
Yeah, and I was really impressed with Shoddy and Clayton Adams. Not as much on the defensive side of the ball, but offensively, how many times have we gone into a game and been like, "This is what's if they can't do this, they're going to lose. Like they can't block Micah, that's going to be a problem. If they can't run the ball, that's going to be a problem." And in this game, they didn't even have CD, so we could point, okay, how's the passing game going to be? None of those problems really factored into this game at all. Like you can't point at one thing offensively and say that's why they couldn't get it done. Yep, they put up 40. Dak was 31 of 40 for 3 touchdowns. Didn't take a sack. And people talked all week about Micah and how to slow him down. I know me and you talked about it. And I mean, he had a couple pressures, but pretty much a non-factor. Like Javonte Williams was helping. You know, they were chipping him with tight ends.
They ran at him.
They ran at him. And the Packers were moving Micah around a good bit too, trying to get him lined up over Hoffman or trying to get him lined up over Steele or where Nate Thomas was. But just none of the things got them killed in this game that we might have been worried about when we were talking about it earlier in the week. And I'm impressed by that.
Bro, you have to be impressed by this offensive game plan. They ran at him. That was, to me, a Clayton Adams special. Clayton Adams is number 1 on my list. What he's doing with Javonte Williams, and now to me, it's just I really want to find his running mate, right? Like you could see that if we can find him another runner, maybe this offense does feel better about running the ball in the red area, right, Zach? It's like, okay, let's give Javonte a rhythm. I like him right at about 15 to 18 carries. Now, today, he should have died with 25 carries, right, Zach? Like, just keep feeding him. But I think that, man, Clayton Adams, yes, check green arrow on him. The line, Tyler Guyton and freaking Terrence Steele have a day. Like, those guys held up. We got to remember, Rashawn Gary is a good football player. How about Bass going next level on edge, Cooper and Quay Walker on some of those runs? That weak side run that Javonte Williams hit and almost crept that out and scored on that, Zach. Like, good football. The only thing I'm upset about, Zach, and this is just me, I got to give him my 24-hour rule. The only thing I'm upset about, Zach, is you had to either go for 2 when you had that opportunity, or Zach, run the ball in the red area, bro. Run the ball in the red area, Zach. Just Shotty's gonna look back when he rewatches this game and say, "Man, I could have gave him an inside zone, something." I would have went back to the You know what I would have did, Zach? I would have went back to the draw with Dak. Something. You had Green Bay's defense on their heels clearly, Zach. Number 5 defense in the world, the best defense that's ever played. Look what Micah Parsons does for them. Man, cut it out. And I told people this all week. I said it all week, Zach, not to take a victory lap, but I said, you can move the ball on this defense. Should have won that game. Oh,
I know. That's why we say the tie sucks, because Dallas should have won. Like, you don't feel like Green Bay fans, I'm telling you right now, they're probably pretty happy with the tie because they feel like they got away with one. Dallas should have won that game. That's what makes the tie suck. Yes, statistically, it is better than a loss. We don't know by how much, but Dallas should have won just based on the offensive game plan. They got punched in the mouth early. They were down 13-0. How many times have we seen Cowboys teams without their number 1 wide receiver and they can't get anything going offensively? They had 27 yards in the first quarter. They get punched in the mouth. Next thing you know, they're leading 16-13 after half. I don't think that happens a year or 2 ago. I don't think that happens with Mike McCarthy. They figured it out. They fought through. So ending in a tie just hurts 10 times more because you should have got one. This should have been like a staple game. Everyone's excited. Look what Dallas did. Dak's playing at an MVP level, but now it just kind of feels like you costed yourself one.
Yeah, it was like it does in a sense feel all for nothing, man. It's not right. It's a half a game, and it's not. And there are some good things to build off of, but it's just bothersome to me because number one, so many people have so much scared, nervous energy. The only thing that I take from this is you have to. I would trade right now I would trade for a top defender, maybe even two, Zach. I give up future assets, not my first round picks, but I try to go get a Jeffrey Simmons. I try to go get a corner. I try to go poach somebody who can help this football team defensively, Zach. You're not going to be able to win with Kyer Elam. That's out. You can try to suffice with Diggs and Bland. At a point, I feel like Diggs is going to let you down, and Bland still needs to get himself back, and we don't know how healthy he's going to be. At the end of the day, go get some type of a corner off one of these rosters, man. You can look at, is there a corner on the Saints? Is there a corner, on Tennessee that you like? I go get Jeffrey Simmons right now. I take on his contract. People are talking about Tyreek Woolen. I don't know about Woolen. I don't know if he fits this scheme. He may be better than what you have. I remember Dak tearing him a new one 2 years ago. So, but hey, it's better than what you have. I've been quiet on Gilly, but it's like at this point, do it. Like somebody, you know what I mean, Zach? Because we just can't keep doing this.
No, and it's not one of those things where they're like average and they need a piece to kind of get, in that upper echelon. That's the tough part, is they just feel so far away because everything has looked easy for every offense. The only bright spot they've really had is that second half of the Eagles game. That could have been Jalen Hurts. I mean, we've seen Jalen Hurts play football this year, but it's like that. I don't even know where you start. They need another linebacker. They need a guy that can actually cover, and hopefully Overshown can do that. You definitely add some athleticism to the linebacker room. Corner, and I also come back to the way that they're playing defense. Like Eberflus has got to be telling these guys 10, 12, 15 yards off the ball.
Don't get beat.
Yeah, and they're still getting beat. I mean, we saw early on in the game, and what's crazy is the defense, I thought, played better throughout the game. There were some bright moments here and there, but they could never stack one up to get a stop, and you still gave up 40 even when you feel like, okay, that I can pick this and this. They had them at fourth down. They should have. And you still give up 40. Yeah, I mean, they need talent.
The post Elam gave up was just
ridiculous.
What are you doing? Yeah, like that. That's the one where it's like, bro, where the ball has to go. There's and like Dontavian Wicks, really, bro, he's not gonna have a game like this the rest of the season. Elam, you stink. You know what I mean? And
not good.
So it's not just, I know people are like, man, you hate Diggs. It ain't, bro. I just hate bad football. So it's not that. This one. I'm still at a loss for words. I got to gather myself. Zach, closing thoughts, Zach. Because I know we'll be doing content all week, but closing thoughts on this game.
Kind of feels like all for nothing. Because, I mean, it does feel good to say that this offense is fine. Like, I trust Schottenheimer. I trust Clayton Adams. I think that offensively, Dallas is completely fine. Their offense is contender level.
Yeah.
The defensive side of the ball, at least we can start focusing on that. And hopefully Dallas does too. Like, I know Shotty said we're going to make some changes, this and that. But at some point, something's got to change drastically. And I don't know how you do that. I really don't, unless that's firing the DC or that's going and trading for a corner, like you said, or at least a defensive back, maybe getting Overshown back. But I feel great about the offense. I take that away from this game, that Dak is on another level, playing at an MVP level.
Yeah.
And you just went toe-to-toe with a contender. Everybody, the Packers were talking about going 17-0. Like we're so talented here and there. And
Everybody
We
called the Packers a Super Bowl pick, and you just really, to me, should have won that game.
should have beat them.
Again, no moral victories, but you went out there and you did enough offensively to beat them, and their strength is their defense. Now you just got to figure out a way to get stops. For me, the biggest takeaway is his 4 is playing at an MVP level, and you need to maximize this. You have 2. They're huge games because I'm not sleeping on the Panthers and I'm not sleeping on the Jets. No, that they're not great offenses. They're not these great teams. We know about Justin Fields, blah, blah, blah. But if you go in there and take these teams for granted, they will beat you.
Yep.
And so to me, it's one of those things where it's like, just try to find a way to get to 3 wins, Zach. Take a deep breath. Get ready for, I was just looking at the schedule. I'm not, and you're not looking ahead, but get ready for that Commanders game, which, I watched the Commanders today. I think that that's a very winnable game. They have a very similar, they have a bad defense. They have a very similar defense to yours, where the secondary is awful, but you're going to need to get stops. And they have an offense that can score points. And then they have an offense that attacks you in different ways than what Green Bay does now. We don't know if Jaden Daniels will be healthy, but it is what it is. They don't know if they'll have Terry McLaurin either, because what I am hearing is it may not be looking good for Terry McLaurin. So, if you could just, let's just scrap everything I just said, get the Jets win and get the Panthers win, you'll be feeling better about yourself for sure. You have to get those 2 wins, because then things do lighten up for you. If you can somehow beat the Commanders, Broncos, Cardinals, Raiders, I think you feel good about all those games the way your offense is playing. Then things get tough around that Eagles, Chiefs, and Lions stretch. So,
yeah, that's the stretch that you really gotta, because the Chiefs are going to be back to their full strength.
Ricky Rice and everything.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you'll be getting Overshown back towards the end of the year. I think that's where we're at right now, is looking for guys to get back healthy. Defensively, and the offense, you just hope can genuinely score 30 to 40 points a game. Like, that's what we're going to have to rely on. Or, turnovers.
Yeah.
They come in bunches. Maybe that starts, but that's something that they've really struggled with this year. And you see how quickly turnovers can flip a game. They get that strip sack, James Houston. That's another thing. Those guys need to be playing more. Based on what I saw from Clowney, he looked really good against the run. In the limited reps that I was actually watching and saw him out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in a tough spot. 1-2-1 is a lot better than 1-3, because now you win your next game, you're 2-2-1. At least you're back to 500, and you're not staring at 2-3, and then having to get to 3-3, and then 4-3. So it's not the worst thing that could have happened, but it's definitely not fun to say that you tied.
And I'm tired. I'm actually very tired.
Yeah.
Here we go. Elam looks bad. Thank you for the super, Kenneth. Well, look at it this way. You've been super competitive against 2 Super Bowl contenders. At this point, it's schemed too much talent on the D to be this bad. See, this is where I agree. Disagree. Excuse me, Jangly. I don't think that this defense is that talented. And you let go of Micah, and that's part of the issue. Like, unfortunately, I do love. Micah was a great player. I'm not gonna crap on the guy. And now you need guys to figure it out. But thank you for this super. Houston need more snaps. I think he will get more snaps. Also, Maris had some really bonehead plays. He did. And I called for Maris, and he didn't play well. So that's that. And then save your draft picks and keep your powder dry. Cowboys are not contenders. This defense is not good enough. You may be right, but these guys don't look at it as like that. You know what I mean? Like, the players don't think like, oh, yeah, now we're going to be drafting 10th instead of 7th. They don't care. You know what I mean? Like, they want to go out and win games, and they did everything they could to win the game. Just the defense did not. So, you got any closing arguments, Zach?
No, I think that's it. I was happy that they used Ryan Flournoy tonight. I want to see him a little bit more in this offense. What they did tonight was a step in the right direction, I think. And Tolbert ended up coming up big at the end. I think this right here, until CD gets back, if your wide receivers can do what they did tonight, then you will have a chance in every single game. It's just going to lay at the defense's feet if they get a win or not.
Yeah, I think to me, I think in the morning I'll look at it a way to be positive.
Yeah.
We didn't lose. So my buddy just texted me and said, we didn't. My man Lou, shout out to you, Lou. Lou said, bro, you didn't lose. And CD and Green Bay isn't all this Super Bowl contender that people think. Figure out a way to get some wins and you'll be fine. So me and Zach will be talking this week. Happy to announce we've been locked in with Fansided. So we'll be doing some stuff with them. And then we'll also I'm gonna be excited after I watch the tape, I'm sure. But like I said, me and Zach will be talking this week. And we'll be back next week for a recap, hopefully of a win and earlier in the day for sure. Zach.
Yeah, I was about to say it's 1 a.m. on the East Coast right now.
Yeah, it won't be 1 a.m. But we did this for you guys. Yeah, facts. We are struggling. I'm definitely struggling. But we did this for you guys. We love you all. It's your boy Fuster King for Zach. We will see you all next week. Love you guys.
See ya.
Peace.